Stu, I have known you for 27 years. That can't be possible. Really? About that?
No, it's not that long, is it?
It's almost.
I hope not.
Yeah, well.
25?
Weird.
Something like that.
Anyway.
Too long. Too long.
I've
we can both
never
agree.
known too long. I've never known you to pay your taxes on time, ever.
I don't think I've done it in that time period.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
it's possible at
you
some
have
point.
at some point. You always file for an extension.
Always file for an extension.
Why?
Well, I mean, part of it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you, like in let's say you're 2013 and you file for an extension, you got to pay that by October. Then you're like 2 months away from the forms, from coming in. So like, it's like, it just feels really close. You just did them. And then all of a sudden you got to do them again. It's too close. I need an extension. So then it just wind up shifting the entire calendar.
Got it. Okay.
To October to October instead of April to April like everyone else. But I will say, as time has gone on, there have been, I don't like to admit that a couple of good things have happened in my working career with you, and things have, improved in some ways. And in those ways, they have, a lot of good things come from maybe some extra income and such. It also complicates your tax forms. And now my full-time job is actually doing my taxes, and my part-time
he has to go to the bank more now. Gosh, I feel bad.
I mean, your ATM card gets worn down. You have to keep getting new ones. Man! I mean, honestly, like
he's got to build a pool now.
Compared to you and your taxes, mine are super simple, right? Like
so
yours,
I pay taxes in all 50 states.
Well, probably not all 50, because some of them don't have state income tax. Thank you, Texas. Thank you, Tennessee. Thank you, Florida, and some others.
Thank you. So I pay any state that is charging tax. And I think, I don't even know how it works. I think it started when I started traveling and doing shows in states.
I remember that.
Sell tickets. Now, if we sell T-shirts or anything in any state, I think I have to pay for it. I don't really know. I think it's a scam myself.
We're just bribing each state just to not come after us.
Usually it's like no big deal. I owe the state of Georgia like $23,000. I don't even think I was in Georgia last year. Georgia, what are you doing to me? What did I do? Did I sell like a whole bunch of the Blaze socks or something? Because I don't get that money. So maybe you should. I don't know. Seriously, what did we sell, or was I in Georgia?
I don't remember you being in Georgia, but it's possible you were there.
I don't think so.
One of the things they do, especially they call it the jock tax. And it started really because of like baseball players, and baseball player, you might be living in Texas, but you go play a game in California, and California's like, oh, wait a minute, that guy makes a lot of money, and he was here for a weekend.
I pay New York State, New York City, and California. If I ever broadcast, they make me pay tax for the number of days that I have been there.
Yeah, they act like you worked there for one day, and therefore you owe us income tax, which is, of course, a completely ridiculous standard. But, of course, they apply it. And they apply it largely to people who are in the media or who are playing for sports teams, because everyone knows where you are, right? Like, if you're a person who's just working a normal job and
nobody really cares.
You're filing some spreadsheets out in California for a day. No one does anything.
Yeah, and likely your boss isn't asking, is Fred here today? Where's Fred?
You're right, exactly. Especially with the homework thing.
Yeah.
It's a totally different scenario.
Correct.
I mean, I know people who just like bought campers during COVID.
Oh, I know.
And just like were working every day from a different location and just investigating and going through the United States and checking out new areas.
That's why campers are so cheap right now. They really are.
Really?
They're like crazy cheap.
Why? Because they tried.
Everybody bought a camper like, this is the end. I got to get into a camper.
Right.
And they got a camper, and now they're like, okay, it wasn't the end.
I'm never going to use this again. I didn't really like driving on those roads.
Right. I actually went to the national parks. Holy cow, we'll never do that again.
But back to the taxes part of this, like I am now at the point where like I have 5 forms that I know I have that have not come in. And I get notes from the people who are like, I couldn't get this done. We'll get it to you in a couple months. It'll be to you before October, though. Don't worry about it. It's like, okay, well, thank you. And I guess it's extension time.
All right.
And the best part about an extension, Glenn, And I don't know if you've enjoyed that. I'm sure you have. But I know you try to avoid this stuff as much as possible.
I keep so far away from anything. Extension. I don't need an extension. Why would I need an extension? I want to do my patriotic duty. I stay so far away from anything gray.
To be clear, an extension is not gray.
Oh, I know it's not.
Okay,
I know it's
make
not.
Sure
but to me, it's just one of those things. Why didn't he pay his taxes?
Well, basically,
why didn't he do it?
But you got to do basically a guesstimate. How much do I owe these people?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And of course, if you don't want to get penalized, you have to overestimate how much you're paid. Right? So you got to dump a bunch of money to the government and then overpay them a little bit because you don't want to get to the point where you underpaid, because even if you underpay on a real normal misunderstanding, they'll act as if you did it on purpose and penalize you for it.
This is so absolutely un-American. This whole thing is un-American.
It really is.
Well, you know, the IRS coming to audit you, do you have a warrant? Specifically, what is it you are saying I did?
Yeah.
Okay. A warrant requires you to say, because this is why one of the reasons why we broke away from the King of England. He could just, I think it's a writ of attainder or something like that. I can't remember, but the king would just hand these out, and it was a general warrant. And it was like, Stu was doing something in his house. Go in and look for it. Okay. Well, you can't do that. You could, but that's one of the first things we stopped. Mm-hmm. Well, the IRS does that. Looks like Stu might have done something. Give us all your receipts for the last 7 years.
And it's not even that. It's like they don't even really even believe. They don't have to have a belief of what you did wrong or if you did anything wrong. There's like, we're just going to check all your work. And
you know what? Who are you to tell me to check my work? I'd like to check yours.
Yeah.
Did you see that the Inspector General's office for the IRS came out and said, you need to do a study because all these people are making the same mistakes over and over again. What is it you guys are doing that is causing these people to ask the same questions and have the same mistakes? And their answer was, no.
No, we're not going to do the study.
We're not going to. No, I'm just suggesting that maybe you look in because it would be easier. No. They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. This would be so easy if it was a flat tax. So easy. I made this, subtract this from that, put it in an envelope, send it. Okay? I mean, that's how easy it is. This has become so complex. I'm sitting with attorneys, and I'm trying to do the right things. And I'm sitting with the tax attorneys just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, so what is the law on this? Well, nobody really knows. Some people think this, some people think that, and I'm like, what kind of law is this?
Yeah.
Because if you have, now luckily we don't have one, if you have a country that is a little lawless and just applies the law differently to different people, you can go after your enemies just through the tax law. Because, nope, that's not the way I read it.
Yeah, everyone likes to praise the old Al Capone. Oh, they got him on tax evasion. Yeah, I mean, like, they could do that to anybody.
They got him. They didn't. They got him on money laundering.
Yeah, I know.
He was laundering the money and didn't pay taxes on the money from the laundry service.
Right, but they basically put him in a position where it was impossible, because if he put the money on the tax forms, it would have been he's laundering money. If he doesn't put it on there, then it's tax evasion.
Right, but the basic thing is he was making illegal money. I have no problem if the IRS if I'm selling drugs. You know what I mean? And I'm laundering it through a laundromat. If the only way to stop me from selling drugs to kids, I'm clearly a bad guy breaking the law, is because the only thing you could find on me is income tax, where I'm taking all that drug money and laundering it, I have no problem with that.
I think, though, when you think of that story fundamentally, of course, anyone who does something illegal, like if you're laundering money, you should be penalized for it. If you've done something illegal, obviously we're all against that. But the way that story is used is, When someone's doing something really bad and you know about it and you can't prove it, go after them on something else. Eventually, through taxes or something, you'll get them.
No,
that's how that story is often utilized.
So let me take it from Al Capone and make it Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, the reason why Al Capone, they couldn't get him on anything is because he was protected.
Mm-hmm.
He had a complete lock on the press. He had a complete lock with those who were doing any kind of banking with him. He had thugs to silence people. He had the power to get away with it. And so it's not like I think somebody is doing some wrong. It's somebody that you know, but no one will step up to the plate. And it's such a heinous crime. Guys, find the window into this. I mean, this is the way I'm beginning to feel about the Bidens. Look, I don't want to go after anybody for any. If you committed a crime, we go after you for the crime you may have committed. Mm-hmm. This is so clear that the FBI and everybody else is just turning a blind eye that you can look at it and go, the only way you're going to get justice is if you get somebody like what was his name that led the Treasury Department on this? What was his name? Elliot Ness.
I thought you were talking about the Bidens thing.
When you have Elliot Ness, you need somebody like an Elliot Ness to step in and go, yeah, I'm not with the rest of the Treasury.
Yeah, I'll give you who Elliot Ness is right now, Alvin Bragg. That is exactly what's going on with Donald Trump right now. They have decided he's so evil, they have to find something on him.
But
they have decided to create...
They're part of the corrupt system that today's Al Capone is running. They're part of that corrupt system.
You're seeing it from the other side I'm seeing it from. But you're always the guy who says, how is this going to be used essentially against us? And it is being used against conservatives right now. I'm not being critical of the Al Capone thing. I do think this is what governments do. What they're doing with Trump right now is this man is so evil, he's so Hitler, he's so Satan, that it doesn't matter if the things we're charging him with are real or not.
Correct.
We just go after him.
Right.
No matter what, find something in this 65,000 pages of law that we can convince a couple of people that he's evil on, and then we'll throw him away forever.
That's the corrupt system, okay?
Yeah.
That's the corrupt court system of Al Capone. Donald Trump, there is no crime. And if it is a crime, it's a misdemeanor. This is like Al Capone, the worst thing he ever did was jaywalk. And they get him for income tax evasion. That's a legitimate laundry. What are you talking about? I'm a laundromat.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there are two sides of the same story here. Obviously, the Al Capone thing was a lot more serious, but you do see how these governments, when you give them this tax code with 100 million rules that nobody understands, to the point of I talk to my accountants and I asked them, I said, how is this supposed to be treated? And they go, as you point out, I don't know. Well, some people say this, some people say that. There's nothing clear in the law. How does a society operate under this?
You don't.
It's ridiculous.
It causes you to be fearful of that's why people are fearful of the IRS. I know I've never cheated on my taxes. Mm-hmm. Never. And I would say that, if I cheated on my taxes, no, I wouldn't, because then I would be a dishonest person. But I've never cheated on my taxes. Never. No. But still, you have the fear of, oh, man, they could come knocking at your door. I mean, they've audited me once the first year that Obama was in. I got an audit.
Shocking.
Yeah. Clear. I think they even owed me money. So it's clear. But it still is something that you're like, oh, no, not the IRS.
Right. And I know because of this job, I go way above and beyond of what even I think is legitimate or fair or legal. Because I'm terrified that they're going to come
for a political purpose.
Right.
For a political purpose.
I just assume it's going to happen every year. So, you go way out of your way to make sure. But still, that's insane.